Alright guys, welcome back to Fantasy Ground Streaming for Dummies. This will be part 5 of my multi-video tutorial series. And in this one I'm going to show you how to add Fantasy Grounds uh, directly into your stream. But before I do that, I forgot to mention one thing in the last video, and that's how to share the link so that you can get your players on your um, into your Roll20 campaign. So what you're going to do is when you are logged in and you see your campaign you've created here. If you go to View Details, there will be a Invite Players link. You're going to click on that, and it will give you this link at the bottom. And just copy and paste that in Skype or whatever you're using to communicate with your other players. Or you can email them if you want, but I generally just use that. Because remember what I was saying before is that the games are private, so they're not going to be, they're not going to be able to just look you up on Roll20 and join the game. So make sure you do that. So let's get on to adding Fantasy Grounds to our overlay. So if you remember, Fantasy Grounds defaults with the chat on the left side. Well, for my layout, I like having the chat on the right. So how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to do it pretty much the same way that we did our webcams. So we're going to add a window capture, and make sure you have Fantasy Grounds open or it's not going to find it. And we'll call this one Tutorial Fantasy Grounds, I don't know, BG. Okay, and we want to find Fantasy Grounds and hit OK. So you can see that it's capturing everything. Well, we just want the background part. So I only want maybe right here, and I don't want the dice and stuff in there. So I want to bring it over, and I don't want that sidebar. So I just want this little square area here. Another thing that works too is maybe I want um, a bigger area. So you can, you know, set your dice position. So maybe you want to put them up here or somewhere out of the way and then lock them. So that way they don't show up in your stream. So anyways, what we're going to do first is crop out all this little extra crap around the sides so that we just have the middle here. So you're going to go back into your Fantasy Grounds background layer, right click and add a filter, and click the add and crop, and then click OK. So we want to bring the left over maybe 300. Oh, close, close, close. So I'll just scroll out just a little bit until the chat disappears. Right there, looks good. Now the top, you can see there's like a little tiny kind of silver border that's on there. So we'll get rid of that. Okay, now the bottom, we want to cut it off right where the dice are. So bring that up just so that the dice don't show. About right there. Okay, and the right side, we don't want that toolbar on the side. So we will cut it off right before that border starts. And you can see there's a little piece in the corner, so just kind of keep going if you want. Alright, and then hit close. So now you see we have that little square here. Now you can see it's on top of everything. So what you want to do is basically you want it underneath everything except for your last layer, which is your background, your wood background. So just move it down and make sure it's right on top of that. So you can see that it is not quite the right size for the little window we've created here. So you can try to scale it to fit right, but as you see, okay, so now it fits in there, but now it's hanging over. So anything that's, below here, you're not going to really see my mouse. So if you hold shift and then move your little handle, you can get that to move up. Now it will kind of distort the size a little bit, but if you move your bars around just right and you kind of resize your webcams, just kind of play with the layout until you get it to how you want it. then it will actually work out pretty nice. So now we want to get the chat. So how are we going to get the chat by itself? Exactly. Another window capture. So we do a window capture, and we'll call this one tutorial FG chat. Okay. And Fantasy Grounds is selected. And just hit OK. So now we're going to right click it, filter, add a crop, and then we want to um, crop out all the stuff on the right. So let's try, I don't know, 1300? Maybe 1500. Ooh, really close. Okay, so we're going to scroll in just a little bit so we don't have that border around the chat. The top will bring down. Okay, now the left side we'll bring in just a hair. So I don't want the border that's default around the chat. Now, if you have like a different set of graphics that you use in Fantasy Grounds, like a different kind of layout, you know, your numbers and everything are going to be a little bit different. And the way I lay mine out is a little bit different from how I'm actually showing you because I have 3 monitors. So my first monitor has Roll20 and OBS and my Twitch chat and all that all set up on that monitor. And then Fantasy Grounds actually spans across the other 2. So I kind of have it a little bit different than how I'm showing you, but you get the idea. All right, so let's crop the bottom up. And that looks about right. And then we hit close. So we want it to go in this little box here. But see, it doesn't quite fit, but that's okay. So we're just going to hold our little handles here and just kind of scale it. Now we want it under everything except for the background. So we'll just move it down. Make sure it's above the background. So there you go. So now you have your chat. So now when your players roll their dice and everything, it'll show up. Or anything that you type. So like, you know, anything you want. And it will show up on there. So basically, it will show everything on your screen and then your chat. And then you can go as far as adding any kind of frames or anything like that, like I've done around your web cameras. Add just little touches. For example, say I want a banner that goes above my little chat area here. So all I got to do is I can add an image, and I already have it added in here, but so we'll do title. All right, and I will scale her down. So that's the one that I made. Boom, now I got a little title. Say my web cameras with all my players end about right here. So I'm going to have this little blank area, and it just kind of looks weird with just a little blank corner. So what am I going to do there? Well, I have a, I took the Fantasy Grounds logo, and I threw that in there. I'm going to scroll it down. So that's pretty much, you know, how you set up your layup. So now you can see we have all of our webcams. We have a nice little layout with our borders and everything. We have Fantasy Grounds so that the viewers can see our Fantasy Grounds. And then a little separate area for the chat. Now you might not even want to separate the chat. Maybe you just want just the Fantasy Grounds window and webcams. That works too. You can add your Fantasy Grounds window. So we'll do that one more time really quick. So we'll do a window capture. And we'll just do test. Okay. And we'll add Fantasy Grounds in there completely. And say, so we want to take up the entirety of the screen. Move it down so that we have everything here. And then let's do this so that we can hide this this vertical bar. Oops, I'm gonna hide the chat bar. Okay, or say we don't want any of those on there. You can click this little eye and hide all your little bars and stuff. So we got that one and that one. Okay, cool. Maybe I don't want my Fantasy Grounds logo there. or my title. And maybe I want my webcams. Oops, see what I was saying before about making sure you have the right thing clicked? I want my webcam. Maybe I want to put them, along here. And then just stack them up on here. It's all up to you. The many different ways you can make it is completely endless. Your options are completely, infinite. So it's all really up to you how you want to set it all up. So let's all add these all back in here. But like I was saying, any little details and things that you add on there really shows. Obviously, if you pay a lot more attention and give some more time to your little overlay and everything, it's going to show to your viewers. They say, wow, not only is he a good DM and it's a good game, but it looks really nice. It looks almost professional. And if they put in the time to create this overlay and stuff, I'm going to put in the time and watch a little bit. But that's all I really got for this one. In the next one, I'll just be going over a little bit of some streaming tips and tricks to make sure that your bitrate for audio and video are set up right, and to make sure that you're not going to be dropping frames or lagging too much so that your viewers aren't even going to be able to watch it because it's just not going to be viewable. So anyways, I will see you guys next time in the next video. Thanks.